All right, good afternoon, traders. Today is July 23rd, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I am the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. That BYOB Trading is the day trading service for the hit and run candlesticks family. I want to thank everybody for being here. Hey, I want to thank all of my members, all of my subscribers, for subscribing and paying for my content. Let me just say, I don't take that for granted. I try to provide actionable, profitable content every single day. Every single day I try to find a way to help you be a winner. And by the way, if you're not a winner, okay, please get with me. I offer free 15-minute coaching that usually turns into a half hour or an hour. Anyways, okay, I'm there to help you. I want to help you succeed if you are struggling with your day trading, okay? Just want to put that out there. And I want to thank everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyber land, all right? Thank you so much for subscribing to my content and being a part of my journey, all right? Thank you. So I made 55K, not 45, so I made 55. Let's go ahead and take a look at how I did that today. Okay, so we'll start off, okay? Let me just say that the 10-minute uptrend is, one of my favorites, all right? And you can see why it is one of my favorites. Rocking good trend right there, okay? See that 10-minute uptrend right after the breakout, okay? So I like the 10-minute uptrend, all right? I like the 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. All right, I like the 10-minute uptrend over VWAP that breaks the rubber band candle. And I like the 10-minute uptrend over VWAP, breaks the rubber band candle, okay, that's inside the 2-hour uptrend, that's inside the daily uptrend, that's inside the weekly uptrend, that's inside the monthly uptrend, all over the all-time high anchored VWAP, okay? That's my perfect setup right there, okay? And then even on that, I want to see that price and the trap, all right, the 3/8 trap or the 3 on top of the 8, okay, the trend right there. I want to see it peeling away. I want to see it cutting away, all right, from VWAP, all right. VWAP kind of represents the price that the security, ETF, ETN should be selling for, okay. That's the average price, roughly thereabouts, okay. That would be the average price that everyone paid for today, okay. Now, when you see, all right, institutions, because they're the only ones that can do this. I mean, my gosh, it's a $600 ETF, okay? So you and I, we can't move it like they can move it, all right? So they can really move it. Anyways, you can see them paying more than what they should be paying, okay? What does that kind of tell you? Kind of implies that they're going to do this for more than 5-6 days straight, that they believe it's going higher, okay? So I just want to say there is SPY, again, new all-time high today on the SPY. Drop the mic, okay? Enough said. That's bullish. If you didn't know it, it is bullish. All right, let's see if I can get my charts. Oh, it's being difficult today, okay? It's being really finicky. Now you can see I can't even get my charts, so I can show you all my charts down here. Anyways, all right, I'm gonna fly through it, okay? Oh, here they come. All right, we got him. All right, that's what I was looking for. All right, let's start off with this one because it took it a long time to come in anyways, so we might as well take care of it while it's here and fresh. Okay, so this, all right, I bought some 640 calls, 1 day till expiration. You can see I was doing that in anticipation of probably some good earnings tonight from Google. They're probably not going to report for about 10 more minutes. They're going to wait till all the options close out, and then they'll probably report. That would be 2 of the alphabets, GOOG and GOOGL, okay? They're going to report today. And they represent about $4.6 trillion of market cap. Yeah, that's huge, all right? And that's capable of moving the markets, all right? I'm just going to say, if they have some good numbers, they are capable of providing us with a nice rip. All right, so we'll see what happens, okay? We'll see what the market wants to do, all right, with these numbers, okay? So we'll see what happens. So there's SPY, 10-minute, definitely got a 10-minute uptrend coming into the close, and you can tell it's a 10-minute uptrend because you get the 3 on top of the 8 EMA, okay? And it's over the 17, that's the green dots. So 10-minute uptrend coming into the close, and a 2-hour uptrend. Again, the 3 EMA, which is the yellow line, up over the 8 EMA, which is the white line here, up over the green dots, all right? So that's a 2-hour uptrend, okay? So we got 10-minute uptrend inside of a 2-hour uptrend, okay? Let's go back to our 10-minute chart. All right, you can see where I bought the lows of the option candle, all right, while I was keeping an eye, all right, on the 10-minute uptrend. Is the 10-minute uptrend still intact? Yes, okay. So I'm going to bid for some options at the low of these candles, okay? So I bid, all right? And then price just happened to rally, and I said, well, you know what? You know, tomorrow's not guaranteed, so I'll take a little bit of profit, okay? So that's what happened, all right? So there's that on, that would be the 640 calls that expire tomorrow at 4:15. All right, now we got the 635 calls that expired today. Again, I had some of these, all right, overnight. I sold these into the pop this morning, and then I reloaded on the dip, okay, because we didn't fill gap. Okay, the idea that we didn't fill gap kind of implied to me that, hey, the bulls are in control. So we gap up. That's a bullish gap. And the bears never fill the gap, okay, which tells me this is probably going to be a really good day for the bulls because they have control, all right? Now I'm just waiting for price to get up over VWAP, all right, which it did. Took it a little while, but it finally did, okay? So you can see I bought the lows of the candles, and then into the rally, you can see I sold into the highs, okay? So you can see I bought some of those for, you can see right there, 3 cents a share, and I sold them up here, some of them up here, for 19 cents a share. So that's like 600%, okay? 600% gain on those, okay? Bought them for 3, sold them for 19, okay? Big gain. And then I reloaded. And then I sold again, all right? So I'm just looking at the 10-minute uptrend, and I'm putting out a brick or a net of sell orders up here for price to run into, and then they have a net of buy orders, as long as that 10-minute uptrend is still intact, a net of buy orders down here for price to run into as it dips down. So every time candle goes up, all right, it runs into my sell order. When it comes down, it runs into my buy order. And I just keep doing this over and over all day long, and that's how I accumulate about 22K just doing that. And you can see when it's small size like this, like 6 cents, 5 cents, you can really get the numbers up there. You don't need to be buying 1 or 2 contracts. You can buy a lot of contracts at 6 cents per share, all right? It's very easy to do that, okay? So there's 635 calls, okay? Now we got 640 calls, 2 days till expiration. Made about 8K on those. Again, all right, I'm buying the lows and selling the highs, okay? Same thing. Got that 10-minute uptrend right here. Okay, I'm buying the lows and selling the highs. See right up there? So I'm buying them down here for, you can see 6 cents, and I'm selling them up here for 14 cents. That's 100% profit. Okay? You can see I'm buying them down here for 8 cents, and I'm selling them up here for 21 cents. Okay? It's 100% profit. Okay, you can see I'm buying them down here for 13 cents, selling them up here for 20 cents. Okay, not 100% profit. But anyways, I set up these nets, okay, of sell orders. Like this. Imagine this whole net was just sell orders from above the white line all the way up to there. Okay, so when price goes up, I'm looking at the uptrend. It's still intact, so it runs in to my net of sell orders. Okay, they're just lined up on almost every penny. You can see 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. All right, you see that's what I'm doing. All right, and then I have a net of buy orders underneath it. Okay, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, you get the idea. Increasing as I go down. That way it brings my cost average down at the same time as I'm reloading, okay? So, and then I unload again, I base out my net. Oh, this thing's really taking off. I guess we got some really good numbers. I thought we were going to have some good numbers, and it really is looking good. I mean, this is a 0 DTE. No, this is a 2 DTE. Okay, so this is looking good. All right, so there's 640 calls, all right, 2 days till expiration. Okay, 1 day till expiration, 639 calls. Okay, you can see I did the same thing, all right? Accumulate, sell, like load, unload, load, unload. You can see it right there, all right? The blue orders represent the buys, the red orders represent the sells, okay? So next one, 635. 2 days till expiration, about 5K on those. Again, sold those off in the morning because I had some, and then I reloaded, and then I guess I missed that one because I was probably busy. Unloaded right here, and then unloaded more here. Reloaded, unload. Okay, I put out a net of buy orders, and then I farm out a net of sell orders up above for price to run into. All right. Next one, 635. 1 DTE calls. Okay, you can see I bought the lows. Okay, I'm seeing that the bears can't fill the gap. All right, so maybe the bulls are probably going to take over for the day. So I'm buying the lows, selling the highs, buying the lows, reloading, selling the highs, buying, unloading, buying, unloading. You get the deal. All right, same thing. Got that 10-minute uptrend. Is the 10-minute uptrend intact? Yes. All right. Is it still working? Yeah. Okay, so I'll put in buy orders underneath and sell orders up top. All right. And I'll constantly be just working the net back and forth from the sells to the buys. 0 DTE, 632 calls. Okay, you can see I had a lot of those from the beginning of the day. And I didn't want to continue with those because they were 0 DTEs. All right, and when they're up here around 170, okay, I don't like dealing them with them when they're up that high, okay, because I can't accumulate as many. All right, I don't like paying $250 for an option. The sweet spot for me, I like anywhere between 35 cents, 30 cents, all the way up to $1.50. That's about it. That's my sweet spot. I can protect my position if it's in there. That's the sweet spot for me. All right, so that's what I've got there. That was 0 DTEs, and you can see I just farmed those out into the rally up there. All right, so again, the rally was not guaranteed. All right, so for me it makes sense to take profit while it's there. All right, there's no guarantee that we're going to rally into the close, so I just had profit. I figured I would find something that had more time left in it. And the last thing I want to do is get stuck with these at $3 or $2 a share, only to have it go back to 0. All right, so made 2K on those, 1,600 on these 640 calls. Again, I'm just putting in buy orders down here, hoping price will dip and get fill me. If not, and with the ones that I did get, I sold some off into the rally up there. Okay, got some 640 calls, 5 DTE. Okay, I bought some down here, unloaded, bought some reloaded, and then unloaded. Okay, that's it right there. Okay, and then I had some puts. We had some a little bit of downward movement at the beginning of the day. I got some puts. I could not get out of them, so I took a big hit on those puts. Lost about $900 on those. Okay, but I'm okay with losing $900. if I'm going to make 55. All right, so I'm fine with that. All right. Again, keep the losers small and let the winners run. Okay? Losers small, winners run. Okay? See that? Lose small, win big. Okay? Poop like a bird, eat like an elephant. That's what the guys tell me. All right? So there it is. There's those. Okay, so what else do I have? So this is what I have going into the close. Okay? Right here. This is what I have going into the close. I've got some Taiwan Semiconductor. Right there. Nice looking stock. Okay? And I've got a spread on the Taiwan Semiconductor. So I got 57 long, 50 short. All right? Got some Marvell long. Got some Intel long. Got 30 contracts of those. 2 contracts of Marvell. 2 contracts of Broadcom, which is AVGO. And I got some SPY calls. I got the 23 DTE calls. I got the 16 DTE calls. I've got 8 DTE calls, some 5 DTE calls, some 2 DTE calls, and some 1 DTE calls for tomorrow. All sitting pretty with lots and lots and lots and lots of profit right there that I wish I could extract, but I can't right now. So maybe tomorrow morning will look good, and that profit will still be there, and I'll be able to take some of that off. All right, so that's what I got going into the close. Okay, and I picked up some SIGA because I like the chart, and it was actually creating a launch pad. Okay, on SIGA. So let me move this back out of the way. That's my positions for coming into the close. Okay. And let's move this out of the way. All right, and I'll show you the SIGA chart so you can look at it. Okay, see the launch pad right here, and building a launch pad. Now they're looking ready for liftoff. See how they move up, and they build this pad up here to jump off of right there. Okay, so there's SIGA. That's what I like. All right, now I'm going to move this over because we don't need to look at the options anymore. All right, we're just going to look at charts. All right, SPY, okay, you guys figured it out. It's bullish, right? New all-time high, okay? Daily's uptrend, 2 hours, you can see 2 hour uptrend, okay? New all-time high. Daily uptrend, new all-time high. Weekly uptrend, monthly uptrend. You get the idea, okay? That's bullish and in an uptrend, all right? Let's take a look at QQQ. All right, QQQ, same deal. I believe, let's make sure, high right there, 566.06, high right here, not quite, okay? QQQ did not make a new all-time high, did make from the previous day a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17, so that's bullish, okay? See, that's bullish up there, okay? Bullish and in an uptrend. All right, see that holding that higher ground, that's bullish up there. Look at all the green dots. Okay, showing you that that's bullish and in an uptrend. Okay, it's QQQ, FNGU. Okay, lower high, lower low, closing over the bullish trap, over the rising 17. Again, see all the green dots. See price move up, hold the high ground. Okay, see price moves up and then holds that higher ground. That's bullish. We go up, we come back. In other words, we go up and we give it up. That's just neutral. All right? When you go up and you hold that higher ground, that's bullish right there. Okay, so that is a bullish behavior. That is a creation of a launch pad. Same thing they did here. Create a launch pad, and then they lift it off right there. So that's FNGU, bullish and still in an uptrend. Let's take a look at IWM. All right, IWM puts in a new rally high, okay? So this is where we started back in April. You can see all of the nice green dots. Okay, we started back here. So this is the rally from the April low all the way up. That is a new rally high, not a new all-time high. As you can see, there's the all-time high. Okay, price action is in the upper third. All right, so anytime price, all right, is in the upper third, that would be up here. Okay, this is bullish. Okay, in the lower third, okay, that's down here. This is bearish. Okay, this is neutral. This is bullish up here. Okay, new rally high. Okay, that makes it uptrend. Obviously, if it's a new rally high, it's got to be in an uptrend because it's making a new high. And you can see price action up over the all-time high in VWAP and holding the higher ground again, doing the right stuff, building out the launch pad for a liftoff to the upside. Okay, there's IWM looking strong and bullish and in an uptrend. Diamond Dow. Another launch pad. We like the launch pads, right? All right, so here's another launch pad goes up and over to the right. And then another launch pad over to the right, holding the higher ground. Okay, if you want to think about what's going on up there, okay, that's the price planking. Okay, I don't know how many of you exercise. When you go up and you plank for 6.5 hours, that takes an incredible amount of strength. So that's how strong that is, okay? That's like planking for 6.5 hours. That makes it strong, okay? So that's bullish. Notice price action for today. All right, let's take a look. I think that's a new rally high for Diamond Dow. Let's take a peek. Get the crosshairs. Yes, that is. New rally high, okay? Again, not too far from attacking the all-time high right here. Okay, so that's strong. Up there, bullish, creating the launch pad, getting ready for blast off right there. Diamond Dow, that's bullish and in an uptrend. Obviously, it's making a new rally high, okay? Not quite an all-time high, but definitely knocking on the door. Let's take a look at technicals. T2122 spent the day in the overbought zone, okay? This is to the 23rd. This is the 15-minute chart. We spent the day in the overbought zone. We came out of the buy zone from yesterday, and then we went up here. We drank all the bear's wine in the buy zone here yesterday. Well, guess what? We're going for top shelf up here today, all day. We just camped out and drank the top shelf. Overbought zone right there, T2122. That's bullish, all right? Anytime you're making higher lows and higher highs, that's bullish, okay? T2123. Bullish gap up, not filled by the bears. Okay, you know the bulls are in charge. Right there. It's noon and the bears still haven't filled the gap. Buying from the beginning of the day all the way to the end of the day. And let me just say, that is a new rally high for T2123 15-minute chart. Okay, from all the way back here. Okay, price action up over the 200 SMA. That's bullish. Up over the two prior all-time highs, that's these right here, and making a new rally high again, moving up and holding the higher ground. That's always bullish. T2123 15-minute chart. Higher lows, see the lows, higher highs, higher high right up there. 3-bar chart, okay, same deal. It's the same product. Okay, so this is where we rallied from right here. Okay, now you can see when price moves up, all right, and gives it up, okay? That's neutral. You give it up and more, that makes you bearish, okay? Now, if you give up the bearish, that makes you back to neutral, okay? Now, when you start making new highs, okay, that makes you bullish and in an uptrend, okay? So there's T2123, okay? All we got to do is cut through this consolidation over here to the left, okay? So we got that low, that high, and that high. We get through all of this, and then we're attacking the all-time high right up here. Okay, we just got to cut through this consolidation right there, and then we're looking at attacking the all-time high. Okay, I think they're going to get it done. All right, we got a big, beautiful bill coming out. We're making peace treaties around the world. I think that's good. It seems like we're coming up with some favorable tariffs for both sides. Okay, you can see price action up over. The hooking 200 SMA, that's the red line. That's bullish up there. Okay, you got a low, you got a higher low, you got a high, you got a higher high. That's an uptrend right there. T2123 3-bar chart. FNGU. Look at that rip at the end of the day. That looked like a Google rip to me. All right. Price comes down. All right. We had a bear flag yesterday, selling from the beginning of the day to the end of the day yesterday. Well, we were continued selling on FNGU, not the market. FNGU continued selling, all right, from the beginning of the day down till about 10:30. All right, and the bulls said that's enough, and then they took over and they started to rally price back up over VWAP, which is this brown line right here. Okay, and you can see they rallied it up and they started to hold price on top of VWAP. Okay, that's bullish whenever you can get price to hold on top of VWAP. And then it looks like they started a 10-minute uptrend right there. As you can see, red turns to green, and then we get a rip back up over 200 SMA right there. That is the 15-minute 200 SMA. Now, if we look at price action, okay, you can see it's doing the right stuff. Again, it's moving up, and it's building a launch pad. All right, see it move up and hold the higher ground. Okay, that's bullish. All right, even though sometimes it does flake out and come up underneath the 200 SMA, all in all, it's holding this trend right up here. Okay, that's bullish up there. Up over, we made it back over to 200 SMA, but we're up over the all-time high anchored VWAP, which is this pink line right through here. Okay, so that's bullish. Okay, and anytime you have consolidation over prior consolidation, just look at that. Let's box off a little bit. Okay, so we got some consolidation right through here. Okay, and now you can see we got some consolidation right through here. Okay, you can see that consolidation is on top of this consolidation. Obviously, you can see the box is on top of the box. Okay, and then we've got more consolidation, okay, on top of prior consolidation. That is a bullish environment, okay? That is a bullish behavior. That is showing you strength. Whenever they can get up there and consolidate for more than 5 days up there and hold that higher ground, that is bullish. So that's FNGU constructing a launch pad right there. We'll see if they give us another lift off. All right, so there's FNGU. That's bullish and in an uptrend. Let's take a look at a few sectors. Okay, let's go back over here to the game plan. First sector we'll look at is XLE. Look at that on the daily chart and we'll pull it down here. XLE, okay, XLE, look at the XLE, okay? So look at it in reference to this pink line, because this pink line is the all-time high anchored VWAP. Notice every time they come up, they give it up. They go up and they give it up and they go up and they give it up and they go up again. They try one more time and they give it up and they touch it and they kiss it and then they give it up and then they can't even make it back. Then they go up again and then they give it up and they go up again. See, all the times they go up and they give it up. Okay, that's just neutral. All right? I'd like to say it's bullish, but it's not. Okay? It's just neutral because they just cannot hold the higher ground. You've seen products hold the higher ground, okay? And you see what they will give you. They will build out a launch pad and give you a nice lift off higher, okay? You're not getting that from the XLE. Not right now, okay? Maybe in the future, but not right now, okay? So that's just neutral, okay? So even when they go down, notice they give it up too, all right? So it's neutral, all right? So you can see there's price action for today, okay? You've got pretty good candle, all right? It's a higher low and a higher high, closing over the bearish trap and over the 17 and over downtrend line 1 and downtrend line 2. So that's 2 downtrend lines. So that's bullish, all right? But still underneath this midpoint or just right at the midpoint, okay? Again, you're not in the lower third, okay? Lower third would be under here. You're not in the upper third. Upper third would be up here. So this would be bullish up here and then bearish down here, okay? You're just neutral. This is the neutral land. All right, right through here, right in the middle. Okay, so price action. All right, still caught underneath this all-time high anchored VWAP right there. Okay, all-time high. All right, keeps going up and giving it up. Eventually, they're going to get up there and they're going to hold. They're just not ready yet. Okay, so there's XLE. That's in an uptrend because we got a low. And you can see we got a higher low, and then another higher low, and then another higher low. And we've got a high, and believe it or not, that one beats by a penny. All right, and that's a higher high. So we're in an uptrend. Okay, we're just not in the upper third. Okay, and we're not in the lower third, so we're just neutral. All right, so eventually it'll get there. Okay, it'll get back up in there, maybe even get up there on top of all-time high anchored VWAP and hold for, let's see, more than a couple weeks. All right, that would be nice to see. So there's XLE. Let's take a look at USO. All right, USO, this would be, well, that would be the Iraq shutting down the canal. Okay, so we had a spike in oil because Iraq wanted to shut down the global supply. Nice going. All right, but we fixed that. Okay, so anyways, you can see we've negotiated some peace. That's beautiful. Okay, so there's USO is in an uptrend. We got a low, we got a higher low, another higher low. All right, and then we got some highs. There's two highs up over the 17, and then there's a higher high. So still in an uptrend. Okay, if price takes out this low right here, they will negate the uptrend and convert the downtrend. All right, right now price is up over. This is just a 3-year high anchored VWAP right here. Okay, that's a post-COVID high right up there. We're up over this and we're holding the higher ground, but the bottom line is we're just not in the upper third. Okay, this would be the upper third up here. We're just not there. Okay, they'd be bullish if we can get up here, but we're not there yet. Okay, just can't. We struggle. Okay, you can see we go up. All right, and then we give it up. All right, so price action just still neutral. All right, and in an uptrend. Okay, just not ready yet to be bullish. All right, you want to see it go up there and hold. What I do like is this consolidation on top of this consolidation. That's looking good. All right, now if they can provide us with, maybe another liftoff and then more consolidation on top of that, that would be a sign of more bullish behavior. Okay, that would get us up there, and that would be nice. All right, but we'll wait. I'm willing to wait for it because they have trouble up there. You can see there's a bearish engulfing, and then there's two wicks right there, and then you can see we go up, and then we gave it all up again. Last time we were up here in the upper third. So there's USO. All right, let's take a look at UNG, and that's in an uptrend, but it's still neutral. UNG's in a downtrend and bearish. Okay, down here in quadrant 1, it's bearish. They're showing you the head and shoulders pattern. That's the bearish head and shoulders. You got a triple top, so that's the head. Okay, and then you got a double top, so that's the right shoulder, and then you got a double top, that's the left shoulder, and then we got the neckline right through here, and you can see they came back, challenged the neckline, and they could not get on top of it and hold. Okay, so there's UNG in a downtrend, showing you a bearish head and shoulders, and again making another lower low. See, here's a low, there's an even lower low. This is the all-time low right over here. Okay, I got a feeling they're going to come down here and challenge that, if not make a new all-time low for UNG. Okay, you can see price action has a series of lower highs and lower lows. So here's high, and there's a low, there's a lower high, and then you can see right here it's a lower low. Okay, you can see price action, all right, is giving you a lower high, a lower low for the daily candle underneath the bearish trap, underneath the falling 17. Down here, quadrant 1, downtrend, bearish, in a downtrend and bearish, okay, and in a bearish head and shoulders pattern. Okay, so there's UNG. Let's take a look at GLD. GLD is bullish and in an uptrend. See it move up, hold the higher ground. It's bullish up there in quadrant 4, and it's in an uptrend because we're making high lows and higher highs. So that's bullish and in an uptrend. Just yesterday, we looked like we made an attack on the all-time highs right here. See that? That's yesterday's candle. Today's candle, a little bit of rest, lower high, lower low, closing inside a bullish trap. That's bullish. Over the 17, bullish. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP, also bullish. Okay? Hanging out the top of quadrant 4 for 4 months straight. Better believe it, that's bullish. Okay, let's take a look at SLV. Okay, SLV puts in new 13-year high today. Okay, making a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA, up there at the top of quadrant 4. That's bullish and in an uptrend. New 13-year high for silver today. Okay, let's take a look at SMH. All right, here's SMH, top of quadrant 4. That's bullish, up over the prior all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, that's bullish up there. And you can see it's in an uptrend, obviously, with all the green dots. Okay, making higher lows and higher highs. Okay, SMH bullish and in an uptrend. XLK, also up there in quadrant 4, bullish and in an uptrend. Okay, see it consolidating up here at the top of quadrant 4. That's bullish. Okay, in an uptrend. Higher lows, higher highs. You can see all the green dots. Okay, nice uptrend there. All right, let's take a look at IYT. Price moves up, consolidates, builds a launch pad. All right, then a little blast off, and now we're up here in the upper third, and we're holding the higher ground, all right, for more than a week. All right, this is fantastic. Notice they were up here for 5 days, 6 days, then they gave it up. Okay, now we're up here in quadrant 4, way up at the top, for more than 6 days. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, transports bullish and in an uptrend and over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, so it's bullish and all-time high anchored VWAP up there. That's bullish. Okay, so that's it for me for today, unless I got some questions. Let me pull up the thing and see if I got any questions. Exceed. I don't think it's supposed to, but we can look at it. All right, T21, 22. Let me just see what that high is. I'm going to just spread this out, and I'm going to pan over, okay? Because that high was way up there. And I got to put the crosshairs on. That's 100. That's 100, 100. That's 100, 100. Yeah, it doesn't go any higher than 100. 100 is the top. Sweet spot. Yeah, for me, yeah, on the zero DTEs. Yes, Robert. Pierre says Google already reported. Awesome. Yes, for the zero DTEs, sweet spot for me, and the 1 DTEs is preferably, between 30 and $1.50. If for me, it's because I can defend them. All right, I can get like 50 contracts and defend it. All right, so between 30 and 150. That's what I prefer. All right, for me, on price. So I will look through the strikes and usually search for something that's about 50 cents per share. That's what I like. All right, so it doesn't get over 100, Mel, if you're asking. And you have some September calls just like me on Intel. Awesome. Yeah, those are doing good so far. All right, those September calls. Let me see if I can just slide it over. And right there. Yep. Where'd they go? Here they are. Okay, September calls. All right, and they're doing good so far. We'll see. All right, price seems to be stuck on 23.20 right now. Keeps going back to 23.20. Not sure why. Don't like that. Okay. Yeah, I'm hoping for 20. I'm hoping for 26, 28. Really. Okay. Google already reported. And good call. And come again. Got the sweet spot. And Mel says, what is my exit price for my Google calls expiring in September? I have those two. I actually have, I'm looking for this target on those Intel calls. Okay. INTC. Okay. I'm going to take this off. Okay. I'm looking for, this is a daily chart, price to come up here. All right. And challenge this high right there. Right up there, 27.43. That's my target. And of course, I will take some off right here into this high at 26.16. But that's my target. I will leave a trailer to go up to 27.43. Okay, so that's my target. And exit is below, right here, below this red candle. Right there, below 20.06. Okay, if it gets below 20.06, I don't want it. Silver, October calls. What's the target for silver? Do I have silver calls? Let me look. None there. Yeah, I got some here. Target for silver is $40. $40. Yeah, Intel reports tomorrow. That's true. Yeah. Great job. Thanks, John. Thank you. Hope everything went well today. Oh, thank you, John. Yeah, I try to emulate the market makers in the way that I put nets out there. Sell orders and buy orders, and just move with the price. Be liquid. Yep, be liquid. Thank you, John. Just got back from a couple weeks, flat right now. What should I be looking for to start new SPY position? Green erases red, and you had that today. Green erases red. All right. Thanks, Gene. Thanks. Everybody have a beautiful evening. Thanks, John. Appreciate that. All right, so green erases red on a 10-minute chart. All right, find a 10-minute uptrend and jump in on some of that. And then on dips, on dips, I look for, what I do is, I'm just going to get a bigger time frame so you can see what I do. Okay, so when I get a dip like that, I put on some 8 DTE calls and some 16 DTE calls. All right, when I get a dip like that, even though the bulls didn't step in yet, I like to, pick up some of those a little bit longer term. I still believe price gets to 655, as you can see from my map. That's not the right map. This where's my map? The one with it's this one right here, right? Yeah, there it is. Okay, so this is Wall Street buying the dip. Okay, Wall Street buys the dip, and Wall Street, just like us, wants to reward for one risk. So this is the risk unit that they bought. Okay, and I think they want to reward, and I think the first target up here is 655. Okay, you can see 655 right up there. That's the first target. All right, and I would be tickled if we got to 655, but they like 2 for 1, so we have the possibility of actually moving all the way up here to 737. And this is me being conservative, okay? I'm not even including all of this and all of that tail down there, okay? So, I'm just saying, we are in a bubble, believe it or not, and it's called the AI bubble this time, okay? So you know what NVIDIA can do, all right? So imagine all of the chip stocks and the technology getting on fire, where people get FOMO, like they're missing out. You could see price kind of go hyperbolic, parabolic, straight up to the top there. Now, I don't think it's going to last for more than a week up there. It's definitely not going to get up there and stick, but I would expect it to come crashing back down immediately afterwards. But we are in the midst of an AI bubble, and I think there's a little bit of market frenzy going on, not to mention the crypto bubble or the crypto. This helps facilitate those NVIDIA stocks, help facilitate the crypto market, because, you can't have crypto unless you've got a way to create crypto. And the only way you create crypto is when you have processors and chips that are able to create the algorithm to create the crypto coins. Okay, so there you go. So you need NVIDIA and the chip stocks. And now that they're going to say chip stocks are going to be recognized as real assets, that's huge. Okay, you can believe the banks that never believed in it before will now start to believe in them as and if I think non-fungible assets, NFAs, and then there's non-tangible assets up there. Okay, so it's coming, and I think we have a possibility. Okay, but again, on the 1 hour chart. Okay, in any dip, I kind of buy blindly. All right, just one or two contracts, and most of the time it comes, the bulls step in and take it screaming back up there. Okay, so I do foresee a pullback to this right here in the near future. If you notice, I say price has a habit of coming back to the valley between two peaks. This is the valley between the two peaks right there. And if you notice that the rally low origin right here, this big valley here, and the anchored VWAP coming off of that are now in the same spot as this. So we may get good earnings from Google, but the market may want to sell it off. And if they do come down here, I would expect it to be a flash in the pan. In other words, it just comes down here and probably goes right back up before the end of day or the following day into this this anchored VWAP coming off the low. We have not tested this in a long time. We have not tested it in 2 months, and we're getting close to August. I would expect it to get tested. We'll see, all right? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I am always watching this for the possibility of that happening. So watch for a triple top on the hourly chart. Anything that might send price crashing down, all right? Because now it's in a location where they will run down there and, shake out the weak hands and the loose hands, all right, and then rip it right back up. So be careful for that one, all right? I think it may be coming. All right. I don't know if it comes before we make the highs up here or after. We'll see. Would that pattern be cup and handle for that scenario? Which one? Oh yeah, if it came back here, yes, it would be cup and handle. But you wouldn't even see the handle because it'll probably be one or two big red candles followed by one big green candle or 4 big green candles all the way back up. I would expect it to get bought right back up. Yeah, it would be big cup and handle. That's right. All right, that's it for me today, traders, okay? I still feel like we're going to 650, 655, all right? And for that, I keep just a little bit of options, all right, that have longer term, all right? In other words, 16 days till expiration, 24, you get the idea, okay? Still think we're going to get there. And I think we're going to get that AI bubble, believe it or not, okay? Look at SMCI. Okay, this is AI again. Okay, they've broken the downtrend. Okay, look, they were all the way up here. Let's see them on the daily chart. Okay, they broke the downtrend. Here's their downtrend. Okay, so they broke the downtrend. See that? And they've spent 5 days out there. Okay, they're up at 50. Okay, what was their high? Was like 120. Okay, so they're creating actually a W pattern right now. That would be a target right there. See that peak between the two valleys? Okay, I think they're going to go for 65.50. All right, again, here's the valley between two peaks. Right there. See how this coincides with that? I would imagine they're probably going to go for that right there. All right, and you've seen the video. Okay, it's up there making new all-time highs. This thing's on fire. All right, and I can only see it going further. All right, so there's the video. No, don't want to be on the wrong side when it breaks. But you know, you're a day trader, so you have the opportunity to correct it. You're always in front of it. If you're always in front of your charts. All right, traders, that's it for me. All right, have a beautiful evening. I'll see you all tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll do it again. All right, thanks for hanging out with me today.